everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den and welcome to August. My goodness, where has the time gone? We are now in August and last month of winter, thank goodness for that. So hopefully it will start to warm up soon with the spring weather. Today we're going to be building this card. It's called a fold-in gatefold, so it folds in to the centre and stands up nicely like this. So that the middle section, as you can see, well, let's put it down like that so you can see, this bit pops up in the middle, okay? Now, I really like the way this card turned out, but again, there was no writing panel with the pictures I could see from it, so I've actually put a writing panel on the back. So, I think it's gorgeous. Now, this is done from a set that for the life of me, I can't remember the name of. But we're actually going to be using something that just come out and I think is gorgeous, and it's an online product and it's called Charming Days. Charming Day. It's gorgeous. It's got this lovely big flower. We're using this little flower here. We're using the happy birthday and the hay there. So these are some beautiful gems that come with it, because I bought the suite, and these are called Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots, and it comes with this lovely paper. Let me show you the paper. So this is the whole bundle, the whole suite. So we're using this paper. I love this paper, it's so beautiful, and look at that beautiful colour on the back there. That is Pretty Peacock. Isn't that gorgeous? So, and that is just absolutely beautiful as well, and whatever colour that's called, Berry Burst, that's right. So, and then the lovely bluey one here with the orange on the back, which I believe is Timid Tiger. Yep. Then we've got another one with the Timid Tiger in it. And that looks like Mossy Meadow. Yep, Mossy Meadow. How good am I? Then we have this one, which is gorgeous as well. And that has, I don't know, that looks like Misty Moonlight to me. No, it's Night of Navy. Night of Navy. Okay, so that's Night of Navy. That's so subtle, isn't it, on the back there? And another lovely one there, and this has Blackberry Bliss on the back. That one I do know, because Blackberry Bliss is not one of my favourite colours. Funny about that, isn't it? So, anyway, so we'll be using that one. So, we are actually using the back of that as well, which is that lovely Pretty Peacock. So, we're going to be using both sides of our card for that. And I'm also going to be using, instead of this oval on the front of this one, I'm using these textured note dies, which I think are absolutely gorgeous as well. So they're nice rectangles and they've all got beautiful patterns on the outside of them. So this is the one we're going to be using. Come on, out of there. This one here, it's a little bit bendy now. Look at that, it's actually bent up a tiny bit. So let's give that. That's because I rolled it through that way, straight through the machine, instead of on an angle or this way. So just be aware of that, but they do move back into place pretty easy, like as you can see I've done that. So this one's got a stitched edge, this one's got like a, what do you call that edge? Like what you get on checker plating. This one's got like a nice florally pattern around there. This is one we're using with the lines. This one's got different kinds of lines. This one's got the checkered pattern again. That one's got the same as this one. And that one has the same again with the stitched edge. So they are really beautiful, but we're going to be using that's the one I showed you. So let's pop them back in there. Now I'm also going to show you a small technique that I found out by myself. I didn't see anybody doing it, and that's how I cut around this on that funny shape like that. So I'm going to actually share that with you, and I will share that with you when we get down to putting this onto the card. Okay, so let's pop that up there and let me show you what you're going to need. Alright, so you're going to need, now was that the one we used, or was it that one? That one. So that one can go over there, because that was my first attempt. Alright, so you're going to need a piece of card that's not all bent up like this, that measures 5 7/8 by 9 1/8. Okay, then you're going to need 6 panels that measure 5 5/8 by 1 3/4. So you're going to need 6 panels like that. Alright, all up. So you've got 4, actually you're going to need 8 panels like that, not 6. So you're going to need 6 for the card and 2 more for the writing panel. And they're exactly the same size. So you're going to need 8 panels like this at 5 5/8 by 1 3/4. Okay, so let's pop them on one side. Then you're going to need 4 pieces of DSP that measure 5 3/8 by 1 1/2. Whoops. And then 2 more pieces of DSP or coordinating colour that you are going to emboss, and that's entirely up to you whether you do emboss or not. I didn't bring the embossing folder over for this one, so you can see it's got a beautiful emboss folder. That's using the opposite side of that. Okay, and these are the same size, so if you don't want to do that, you can do 6 pieces of DSP that are 5 3/8 by 1 1/2, and then you'll need 2 pieces of white which measure 5 3/8 by 1 1/2. Okay, now I've done my flowers and I've cut them out, so that's okay. You're also going to need 1 little piece of DSP that measures 1/4 of an inch by 5 5/8 of an inch. Then you're going to need your panel to go on the front of your card here. Now this one is that rectangle with those lovely marks on it. This measures 3 inches by 4 inches or something of that, around that size. This was my piece for my flowers that I cut out, and I actually coloured these with pecan pie, dark in the middle and then the lighter one on the outsides, and a little bit of dark in there. And then I used my highlighter, a lifter pen, to lift the colour a bit so they're lighter. And I did the same with flowers. Now this was done in Pretty Peacock, and I did the dark pieces in the middle and then light through the rest, and then I used my lifter to lighten that up even more. Okay, and then I had my piece for my saying, which is just a piece of scrap that I had here, and that measured 3 inches by, well, this is 1 1/2 inches, but you don't need a piece quite that big. But I will show you how I got that lovely shape like that. So let's get cracking on our card. I've got a dirty mark on there, but thank goodness it's going to get covered. I don't know where that's come from. Okay, so we're going to pop this into our scoreboard at the long side, and we're going to score this at 2 inches, and we're using a small ball, so we're going to score this at 2 inches, 2 3/8 of an inch, 4 3/8 of an inch, 4 3/4 of an inch, 6 3/4 of an inch, and 7 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so we'll go through that again. 2 3/8, 4 3/8, 4 3/4, 6 3/4, and 7 1/8 of an inch. Okay, So we are now going to fold all of these folds as such. I'll bring the inside card so you can see what we're going to be doing. Oops, let's move them out. So we're going to be folding this as a valley fold. Starting from the left to the right, valley fold. Valley fold. Mountain fold. For the middle two. And mountain fold again. Whoops. Then we're going to be doing valley fold and valley fold. Get over there, you. That's better. So you've got that look. So let's pop this out of the way. So your card is going to be looking like this. So you've got it in front of you. Valley, valley, mountain, mountain, valley, valley. We're now going to add our panels to the front and the inside. So we've got, I have a directional paper, so I'm going to have to watch which way up these go. I have one to put together. So I have actually put, I've got the two with the opposite side that I've actually embossed. They are going to go in here like so. So I'm going to put those two embossed ones in first. And once again my embossed pattern here, and I forgot to bring the embossing folder over. Let's get rid of the glue end, off the end of the glue, come on. Yeah, it's been a week since I've used it, so come on, come out glue. It's been cold here. So I'm going to pop this one with the embossing hook on there, and I can see that I've got my embossing folder up the right way, or the wrong way actually, so let's pop that way up. So that's going to be the right way up now. So let me make sure that I put this one on the correct way up. Yep. Not watching. Now, if you don't want to put an embossed panel in there, you don't have to. I just thought it would break it up and make it look nice. That's all. So, I just saw the card open with different panels. They showed a front one and an inside one and on Pinterest. So that's what I did. So I've got to make sure that my leaves are up the correct way, and I'm going to put two on the inside here. I don't know whose card it was. It didn't have a name there, so I can't tell you who it came from. So, and that one's going to go in there. So we've got our open bits there. Making sure I've got my pattern up the correct way again. The one I saw didn't have anything down the middle here, and it just looked wrong. So, okay, so I'm going to turn this over this way, because I need to make sure that I put these panels on the right way around. So I've got this one to stick together. Put this one together. And this goes this way up. And this one goes on this side, like so. So before we put our middle panel in, what we're going to do is we're going to actually put our writing panels on, because I just think it's going to be a little bit easier. So I've already done the one and I've stamped and put the hay on there. The other one is just going to be plain. So we're going to stick them onto the back of the card. those other two sections. So between all these pieces, you're going to fill up front and back. Okay, so we've got our back of our card, which now looks like that for our writing, and this is our front of our card, which opens up like so. We're going to pop this tiny piece of card right down the middle. Now, I didn't put an extra layer on there because I just thought it would have been just ridiculously small, so I just put this on there. I thought that that's big enough. It just takes that plainness out of that middle section. And this is going to be one of them bits that I don't think it's going to matter which way up you've got it, but I think I've got it up the correct way. Look at that. Okay, so that's just down there. You could put those on there too, but they're not going to be seen the same and don't look as uneven so as this one did. So this is going to sit into the middle here. So this is what I found was the easiest way to do, is I actually popped my card piece on here, and I noticed that it was 2 3/4. So half of 2 3/4 is what? That's 2, 4, 6, 1 3/8. So at 1 3/8 mark, I put a little line top and bottom, and then I just use my ruler to draw a line down the back, because you're not going to see it, like so. That way I know where I'm going to be putting my dimensionals or my strips, which I think I used my strips. Oops, excuse me, I did bring them in here. Okay, so I have these strips that you use when you're doing shaker cards. So if you put that down the middle there, you know that that is going to be down the middle of the card. So I'm going to pop one of those down the middle of my card, like so. Right down over the top of that way. I couldn't remember where I put the strips, but so that's that, and I can just see that at the bottom of there, and that's annoying me, so I'm going to cut that out on an angle like so, like that, and I'm going to do the same at the other end. Just angle it so that it's like on a wedge angle, just so that it can't be seen from the front of the card. Okay, so that then, making sure we have our card up the correct way, if we have directional paper, it's going to open up and it's going to glue onto there like so. Now you could use normal dimensionals, there is nothing to say that you can't. So I'm going to pop that piece of backing paper off, and I'm going to pop that in here. Pop it up like as much as you can if you want, so that you can see that you're getting that into the middle of there. So you can see how I'm making sure that that's in the middle, but I'm making sure that it's even top and bottom. Okay, once I've done that, you can see that that's stuck in there nicely, and those are going to fold underneath like so, so that the front of the card looks like that when it's closed. Now how gorgeous does that look? Okay, so we're now going to pop our flowers on. Now I'm going to pop one down the bottom here and one at the top here, with our saying through the middle. So this is how it's going to go. So let's put these flowers on with some dimensionals. Now it doesn't matter if they hang over the edge here, because they can hang over the edge. They are not going to be out of the envelope in any way, shape or form, so I'm actually not worried if they go over the edge a tiny bit, like so. And then we're going to pop our piece of Happy Birthday through the middle like this. So I'm going to show you how I did this. Alright, so when you get your stamp set, if it's, and it only can work if you have the red rubber, alright, for this particular way. On the back of the red rubber things you have this paper, so that when you pull that off you can then put your labels onto the thing, like so. This piece here was what was on the back of the Happy Birthday, right, like so. So what I did is I kept this piece and I put some removable double-sided tape onto that. Now you might have to do this a couple of times, you know, remove the tape off the back, because that one you can see is like it is. And then I actually, and I'm going to do this so I can show you, I actually stamped my words into my piece like this. I haven't put my label on the back of this one, like so. Have to wait for it to dry for a second. While that's drying for a second, we're then going to look at this, and we're going to see that which way around it goes, and then we're going to turn that so we know that it's the right way up, and pop it over the top of our words that we stamped. The double-sided tape will then stick to the card that you're stamped on, and then you're just going to cut around it as if it was like a template, and that's what you're using the outside of that for. It's wider because it's the same width as the whole of the rubber stamp, but it gives that nice edge right around the outside of your card, your saying. Now this can only work with certain pieces, unless you want to take your silicone based ones and draw around on a piece of card. When you pull that off very carefully, you have that lovely shape. Look at that, how gorgeous does that look? Keep those for another time. Throw that bit away, and then I just use my dauber to go around the edge, which I've done on these. Or you could, if it's not too wobbly like this one is, you couldn't get it into your stamp pad, you can actually pop it into your stamp pad and whiz it around like so, but you can't do it with this one because it's the wrong shape. But that is the way that I got that shape, and I think that I love the way that has turned out. So I've got a couple of them now for other times. Okay, so we're going to pop this onto here with some dimensionals. What did I do with them? Oh, there they are. And I haven't got them here, but I'm going to put a couple of butterflies on this later on. So when it's photographed, you'll see it with butterflies on there, small gold butterflies. And I'm going to pop that through the middle like so. So I'll pop a couple of gold butterflies here and here. And I have my dimensionals, not dimensionals, my Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots, I should say. And I'm going to use the dark ones on here to give some real contrast. I think that the pink ones, the same as those, I'll be a little bit too insipid is the right word I think I'm looking for. So let's put my pin in my glue. Let's pop some of these on here. So I'm going to put one here, one here, one here, one here, and then I'm going to use one of these smaller ones, and I'm going to pop that just here. So I've got 5 on there. Now I might just switch you off for a moment and then go and get my butterflies, and then we will see it finished. Okay, I'm back. These are called peel off butterflies, peel off. You buy them in a sheet, and I stick them onto a bit of acetate. So you wouldn't want to put a dimensional on the back because it would show through. So you will need a glue dot of some kind. And we're going to glue this onto the front of the card. So let's put one there and one next to it. Okay, so they're up a tiny bit, and I can then bend them a tiny bit, those wings, and pop that onto the front of my card there. And I'll do the other one the same. So one near the top, and one which, when it sticks, will stick on there, that's better. And the next one down like so. Get them a bit of a, if you actually give them a good twist like that, they will actually sit up a bit more. So I'm actually going to do that on this one. I'll pull this one up a bit. So that, oops, my wings will sit up a little bit more. And that's my butterflies. So how does that look? I actually think that they just actually sets it right off too. So if you've enjoyed today's card and you'd like the written tutorial for this project, and it's called a fold-in gatefold card, just head down below here to Die Stand for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials, my Facebook group. And just, if you've never been to my group before and you're not a member, please answer the question to join the group, and we will see you all again over there on that site to pick up the free written tutorial, which is written in inches and centimetres. These are all, my cards are done in European Australian sizes, which is 5 7/8 by 4 1/8 rather than American A2 size. So just be aware of that, and we'd love to see you, and I will see you all again next week. Bye for now.